Oh, hi. I didn't notice you there, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, the internet's most literary music nerd. Literary nerd. Words. Yeah, that's right. Words. Books. Pages. Text. That, my friends, is what we are dealing in today, because in front of me, what I have is a copy of the new book from none other than Aubrey Graham, aka Champagne Poppy, aka Drizzy, aka Drake. It is a new collaborative effort with one Kenza Samir, who, from what I understand, is a writer and poet herself, and actually has a few writer credits on some previously released Drake songs. So this is somebody who has been collaborating with the Six God for a little bit now, creatively, at least on the musical front. And now it seems they have put together a bit of a book here, double billed between both of them, and titled Titles Ruin Everything. It's also posited as being a stream of consciousness, which is quite interesting, because when you actually open the thing up and look at it, it seems to be anything but. Historically, stream of consciousness writing is usually just like kind of continuous, non-stop, could potentially have like no direction or rhyme or reason to it. But as you can kind of see, what we have here mostly in this book is just sentences, or just even just several words put onto a single page. Pretty much all of these being, just very brief thoughts or one-liners, the sort of thing that you would individually quote out of a Drake song as being particularly clever or something like that. Or, a lot of these sentences actually kind of read like Instagram captions. I'm not sure how many pages there are in total on this thing, maybe 100 or just a little bit over 100. But again, given just how little text you're actually getting here in this poetry book, does it even really matter? If you stacked all of these one-liners and quotables onto single pages, double spaced, mind you, you might actually have like a fifth of the pages here, if that. This book would essentially be reduced to a pamphlet. I was able to breeze through the entire thing in about 30 minutes. And I will give the book this. At the very least, I was entertained. Whether or not that was done in ways that the book meant intentionally, that's up for debate. Sometimes I did feel like I was laughing with the book, and maybe kind of, rubbing my chin a little bit, thinking about how clever a particular part was. Other times I was most definitely laughing at the book, or just feeling sort of taken aback by just how petty and occasionally up its own ass it sort of is. Which, in that sense, I think you could say this book is pretty accurately a representation of the Drake that we know, at least through his music. Very few of us actually know Drake on a personal level, so I can't really assess here what I know to be in the man's heart or anything like that. But at least in terms of like the persona, the vibe, the energy that he puts out in his music, it very much rings true through this book as well. Which, again, sometimes it is pretty witty, it is pretty clever. Other times it is kind of pretentious and convinced it's saying something more profound than it actually is. With that being said, let me read a few passages from the tome of Drake here, and let's just kind of go over some of the highlights. Now, the book kicks off in a fashion that I think is pretty apt by saying, "I actually do have good things to say about you. Just not in this book." Again, with the moments that actually think they're deeper than they are, or are more impressive than they actually are, we have, "I'll let you talk first, but don't let me go second." Again, a lot of bars on this thing have you feeling like once you say them, you should like... Here's another part of the book that kind of sucks. "You're nothing to write home about." That's it. That's literally it. That's not even clever or witty or a twist on a saying or anything like that. It's literally just, a bitter thing to say. Shouldn't you shroud it in some humor or satire or something? Here's an interesting one. "Canadian money does not fold," which could be a literal statement on the physical state of Canadian money, which, I've interacted with, has kind of almost like a plastic sort of quality to it. So, I mean, in that sense, I do get it. But Drake could also be talking about the strength of the Canadian dollar right now. I like this one. Dead serious till I die, which may be taking itself a little too seriously, but honestly, I kind of like that one. Here's another one that I don't quite get. Not because I think there's something to get, but I just don't really think it comes to a witty conclusion or anything like that. It's just, y'all more liquid than solid. Obviously, it's a good thing to be solid with someone, solid in sort of like a colloquial way, but just saying someone's liquid instead is... Here's one that kind of, borders between being witty but also cringe. We have, I'm not for you. For being the number 4. I'm not for you. Really starting to put 2 and 2 together. Ideally, I want someone to check on me knowing I'm healthy. That's neither witty or petty or anything. That's just a nice thing to want. Moving on. My helping hand is getting numb and my vision's going blurry from looking out for everyone. Drake, he just has a reputation for kind of being a bit of a mama bear. He's there making sure everybody's got, their cookies, their juice boxes. And, Drake, just like any mama bear does, needs a break, y'all. Here we go. This one is really a statement of our time. There are 2 types of women in this world. Women who like giving head and women who I don't like. First of all, I like the sentence here starting with, first of all, Drake is getting sassy right off the jump with this page. First of all, I don't have time to go around telling every loser I come across, I'm sorry for your loss. Your taste in men isn't exactly a Michelin star. Tell me something I don't know, like your motives. Actually, not a bad one. Not a bad one, honestly. This one's not bad either, kind of. Said you're 1 in a million, not 1 in 7.8 billion. Relax. This doesn't so much feel like a rap line as much as it feels like, Drake on the stage at the comedy jam, just being like, relax, babe, relax. I didn't say you're 1 in 7.8 billion. Okay, here's an interesting one. Numbers don't matter, quoted. Someone who isn't doing them. I don't know who's saying numbers don't matter at all in any context ever. But, kind of seems like a bit of a straw man thing. Drake is just straw manning here. Also, this one's kind of classist over here. Please go mind the business that pays you minimum wage. Yo, what the fuck? Are you serious? Drake, guaranteed millions of your listeners currently right now today make a minimum wage. Why are you shitting on people making minimum wage, dude? It just kind of makes you look like a dick. This one is so long-winded. I feel like whatever wit it has to it, it kind of voids it by just not being able to say what it's saying in less words. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Quoted as someone who could never be me, let alone do what I do. I mean, I feel like this is Drake fighting against his own imposter syndrome here. Free all the homies dealing with max sentences. And free all the women dealing with bare minimum. The sentiment is nice. Now you're with somebody you told me was nobody. It's always some unemployed hoe trying to work my nerves. The classism. Drake really sees himself as better than other people for being rich. And ugh. This one might be to Pusha T. Assassinated my character and got off with no time served. For what it's worth, I've dealt with badder who have done me worse. Okay, I do kind of mess with this one. This one is cute. This is a cute one. Get ready. Apple added edit text so you can resend what you really meant as opposed to resend, but whatever. Is that resentment? That's kind of like some Eminem level wordplay right there. I could hear Marshall saying that very angrily. Tell Guinness I know who the most annoying bitch is. And I like how is censored. No swear. This is a Christian poetry book. No swears in this book. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Drake is he's lashing out. He's lashing out a little bit in this book. He's lashy. And from what I've heard, it seems like Drake is going to be giving us the old Drake with this new book, with this for All the Dogs album is what I mean, because he kind of does a little preview here with the dogs, and he has a bit of a QR code here that I'll check out. Yeah, that's going to be it for this video and this assessment of the Drake book. Also makes a good fan if you're in the market for that sort of thing. It is hot out, people. Try to stay cool. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up with a link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Champagne Poppy, forever.